Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of See Yourself Grow with Tina. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Tina Kulura, and I am the founder and CEO of the See Yourself and Your Business Grow coaching and consulting firm. It is the last week of February, and we have 10 good working months left in 2024. So please do me a favor. Take a moment today and acknowledge your successes. Too many times I am talking to people, and the first thing that they say is, I feel like I haven't been able to do all that I wanted to do this week, today, this month. So now I am asking you to acknowledge your successes. So the first thing that I always ask people is, what is one thing you want to accomplish this month? And what are the 5 things that are going to get you there? So what are the 5 things that you are doing to get you closer to achieving that goal? One of my goals for 2024 was to attend and or sponsor at least one in-person event a month. And so far, so good. I'm booked up until April. So I'm looking for opportunities for May, June, July, and so on. And why? Because I am intentional. I put it out to the universe, what it is that I'm asking for. I keep my eyes and ears open, and I tell other people what I'm looking for. And then they message me with opportunities because they know what I'm looking for. So everything is always created twice, once in my mind and then in reality. So if you want to make your vision a reality, you need to be intentional. This is what manifesting is all about, people. So one of my other goals was to host a monthly virtual event every month so that I can create space for like-minded individuals who want to collaborate, who want to connect and be innovative thinkers. So again, January was a success. February was awesome, and March is coming up. So if you want to be a part of that event, I'll be putting the link to register for that event on March 21st. I look forward to seeing you there. But today I want to talk to you guys more about debunking the menopause myths, separating the facts from fiction. So when I say menopause, what actually comes to mind? Hot flashes, gaining weight, temper tantrums for women, whatever that case may be. Menopause is a point in time. Okay. It's actually, I just learned this myself. It's actually one day because it's the one day that, you've gone 12 months without your period, and then you actually don't get it anymore. So I've also learned the terminology peri-menopause or pre-menopause. And this is all about women changing and change in our hormones, change in, the next phase of our lives. It may even cause anxiety. It may cause stress for some women, mood swings, anger, irritability, so many things from that start happening to us during the menopause phase. And what boggles my mind is so many women before me have gone through these situations, this menopause, and nobody talks about it. It's always been such a taboo topic. Well, today I'm putting it out there for all of you to hear because, funny story, I'm going through perimenopause. And the first thing that happened to me was I didn't get my period for 6 months. And so the first thing that I did was call my mother. And I'm like, what is happening to me? She's like, oh, yeah, it's starting, eh? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I was 45 when it started. And then the hot flashes happened. And they were started to happen to me at night. And I'd be in the middle of a conversation with my husband. I'm like, hang on a second. I'm like, I need to step outside at below 0 temperatures while I cool myself down. And he's like, what's happening? I'm like, just go with it. I'm like, let's just go with it. And what did he do? Such a sweetheart. He went and bought me a $300 cooling pillow so that at night I could try to sleep better. But let's be honest, like once all these changes start happening, irritability is key here. And I feel bad for the people around me, but I'm always putting it out there. I'm like, listen, I'm having a hot flash, or listen, I'm not having a good day, or I didn't sleep well. I am all about letting people know what's going on, because we need to be more vocal about this. And so that's why today I have the great pleasure of bringing you a friend of mine, Annie Gaudreau, who I've actually known for the last 3.5 years virtually. But in January, we actually met in person. And as soon as I saw her, I gave her the biggest hug because I feel like I've known her for so long. So Annie is a nutritionist and a women's health coach. She's the founder of VEEV Health and Wellness, and she supports women going through menopause, giving them the confidence they need to do what they need to do or what they want to do with the energy that they need. She is an endurance athlete with 12 marathons and 3 Ironman triathlons under her belt. Annie lives what she is preaching. So prior to this life, she had a 25 plus year career as a brand consultant, working with executives of Fortune 500 companies. And that gave her the solid background she needed to serve the wellness needs of women living busy lives. She is a regular speaker to the media, corporations, and lifestyle organizations of various topics of health. So please, without further ado, let me welcome Annie. Hello, Annie.
Hello, Tina.
How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
So happy that you're here, Annie, and I'm so happy that we are having this discussion today because, like I said, it's top of mind for me, and I just can't believe how women are functioning going through all these changes and having to be productive and having to run a household and having to work or run a business. So it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So tell us some of the biggest problems or myths that you're seeing as it relates to menopause.
First of all, I think that, we need to say this is we have never been given a lot of education around this topic, right? So that's the first place. Like we are confused and we are just starting to have these conversations a little bit more at large. So of course, it used to be, our mothers and our grandmas, there was a lot of shame around this, right? This whole like this whole passage, right? She's going through the change, as we used to call it. And the fact is that menopause is entirely natural, just like we became fertile in our teenage years with our periods, just like fertility and having children, if we choose to, is normal. This is another normal change for women. So we need to bust this thing that, this is a disease. This is just a natural thing. The other thing I think that it's important, and you touched on it, is the fact that leading up to that one day that is menopause, peri-menopause can last up to 10 years. So we need to make sure that women know that as estrogens start to fluctuate and is less reliable, there are many things that we can experience. So I think that a myth would be that this menopause thing is kind of a little square and everybody experiences it the same way. And the fact is, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing, right? There is no such thing as the common thing. Women will experience some symptoms, but not one size fits all. So this is why this whole education piece, and this is why I'm so excited that you wanted to talk about this today. So really, really thrilled. But I think that the last thing I'll say on that topic is the biggest myth is that it's all downhill from now. Because ladies, that is not true whatsoever.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that, Annie, because like you just said, most women, we don't talk about it. I called my mother because I'm like, typically whatever has happened to me happened to her, and I don't know if genetics plays a part in it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, but you know what? Her tone, it changed. It went like, "Oh, oh, you're going through the change." And I'm like, "Okay, calm down." I for me, I was excited. I'm like, "Yay, I don't have to get my period anymore." And I know that there's other things that come along with menopause or perimenopause. That's a term actually, Annie, that I recently became aware of, and I don't
Mhm.
know if it's been a term that's been out there. Has it been out there
Yes.
for a while? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So what can people expect in the perimenopause? Like what's the difference? What would you say is the biggest difference?
So what we experience throughout our life is that, with our cycle, there is always a certain predictability of how estrogen, testosterone, and progesterone is going to behave. And with perimenopause, we enter our unpredictable years. And I
Hmm.
think that that's the biggest thing that women should know is that it will fluctuate. It will vary. And you could be experiencing, for example, for a number of months, certain symptoms. You talked about hot flash, right? Hot flashes. And 70% of women in North America will experience them at this time of life.
Hmm.
So, but you could, a year after, see that completely drop, and then other symptoms will manifest. So, this is why I say, welcome to your unpredictable time.
Oh, great.
I know. I know, right? I'm full of good news. But a woman that has the knowledge can then do so much better, right? And I know we'll talk about that in a moment. But I think that that's the biggest thing to understand with perimenopause. Some women will be in perimenopause for a year. Some women it will be much longer, and some women's experience will be very benign, and some women's experiences will be a lot more dramatic, right? So, and then everybody will fall somewhere in between.
Okay. Okay. So I touched a little bit upon the genetics, right?
Yes.
How does genetics play a part in menopause or the perimenopause cycle?
What we know is that a lot of women will get into menopause the same time that their mothers did. But some won't. So it's not you are not a carbon copy because there are other influences, but the science doesn't know for sure. It
Hmm.
doesn't know what will trigger this. We obviously know that there's medical menopause induced, right? When some women have hysterectomies, etc. But from a natural standpoint, science doesn't know.
Yeah, and so it's interesting because I've been sharing with some of my older, family members, women, that I'm going through all of this, and they haven't even experienced any of it yet. And the first reaction that I get is, "You're too young. Why are we
Mm,
going through this?" And I'm like, "Listen, I go, I didn't have control over this. This is not something that I asked for." So what are your thoughts when you hear that? You're too young to be going through this.
yeah, nonsense.
Oh, okay. Good.
Nonsense. Absolutely. Science is this is clear. We can have perimenopausal women at 40, 41, 42. Right on. When we say average, we have to understand that an average counts a lot of people at both extremes, right? I have some clients who are 58 and still have their periods regularly. Right? And then I also have some clients who started perimenopause at 39. All of this is normal, right? Not that we should ever use that too much, but it's comforting. So there is no such thing as you're too young for this at all.
Okay. So that's gonna be my response, Annie. Nonsense.
Nonsense. Totally.
Nonsense. Okay. Excellent. So what are some of the other big myths that we need to debunk today for everyone?
I think that a big one is that you need to experience very severe symptoms in order to go get help, pardon me.
Mm,
And this is something that we see a lot. Women will just kind of suck it up. Right? They'll be
mm,
like, well, I'm experiencing a little bit of this. I have some night sweats, so my sleep is not as good. I'm starting to have a bit of brain fog. There could be also, I've got joint pain now. And you're like, well, nothing is screaming and is so debilitating. And we, because women are tough and we have had PMS and sometimes some very tough moments. So we are definitely built to endure if you want. But the reality is that we should be seeking with our healthcare provider, starting the discussion over what is happening. So I highly recommend if a woman is starting to experience a number of symptoms, first of all, keep track of them, right? Keep track of what is happening in your cycle. Keep a little journal so that you start to see, a trend. And then you can come equipped with that in your discussion with your healthcare provider.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I didn't even think about that actually. So I rely on my amazing brain. But like one of the symptoms you said, the brain fog.
Yes,
And yeah, I'm experiencing all of that. Like maybe not to a huge extent or to an extreme extent, but yeah, everything that you mentioned, I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
yes,
And that's why I wrote in the comment, night sweats, brain fog, joint pain. Does any of this sound familiar? Because to your point, we tend to brush things under the rug. Why? Because we're so busy. Why? Because we have to get out there, because we have to take care of the family, because we have to keep going, right?
exactly.
So 9 out of 10 times we're just okay, acknowledge it, but I gotta keep going.
Yeah,
But as you know, we're like cars, right? If we don't take care of ourselves, something's going to break down or it's just going to get worse and worse. Um,
absolutely.
and is that really when you want to be addressing these things, right?
Yeah, I think that the more we, if this is something that we want everybody to take today, is the more we are proactive as we deal with the changes that are happening, the better the outcome. Right?
Mhm.
And if we, and I know that a lot of women seek out help with their doctors and will be put, good Lord, on antidepressants because they feel that now they're depressed, right? Well, they don't have depression. They have perimenopause, right? And they are experiencing, I should say, perimenopause. So make sure that you are also getting an enlightened and educated menopause, GP, or if it's your OBGYN or your functional doctor, regardless of what is the modality that you will choose. But talk to somebody who has the education and will understand, your needs at this time of life. Because another big myth, Tina, is that, this is just a sex hormone change. The fact is that we have estrogen receptors throughout our entire body. So this is
Mm.
why we start to see changes in uncommon places, right? This is why we are now more susceptible with our hearts, right? Women will develop, for example, cholesterol when you go, nothing has changed. My nutrition, my lifestyle, why suddenly high cholesterol? Well, menopause, right?
Wow.
Many, many, many things, right? And we don't have all day here, so we're going to keep it to that. We're going to put a cap on it.
I know.
It's a total body experience that
Wow.
women will go through.
Okay, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that, Annie. So thank you for bringing that up. So can you share with us maybe 2 to 3 tips on how women can prepare themselves mentally and or physically for perimenopause or menopause?
Yeah, and I love that you're bringing both sides there, Tina, because what we want to be doing is an all body preparation here. And I'm going to start with the physical because it's a little bit more the obvious. But this is a critical time to make movement and exercise a priority, because it's going to help you on so many levels: brain, of course, but it is going to help your heart. It is going to help your blood sugar levels, which are also under threat at this time of life. And of course, it is good from an overall, like, emotional feel good standpoint, right? So, movement priority number one.
Okay.
We also want, the other part of it is really to be well supported. This is something that, of course, as we go and carry the weight of our business or our career and then family responsibilities and all that, this is very much a time to be well supported in in a loving environment, whether it is joining a group, having a group of girlfriends where you can actually have these conversations, because each of us will be going through something unique, but we need to make sure that we are connected in a supportive environment to get us through some of these changes, because some of them are challenging to witness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It can be hard. So that's really going to help a lot. And then the third part of it, and of course, good nutrition goes without saying, but the last part that I love to talk about of this triangle is very much to be dealing with stress management, because this is when it is going to come and catch up to us, right? So there are stressors out there. It's not about going to live in a bubble somewhere, but rather to be taking some direct action to manage stress differently. And it could be, this is a great time of life. I call it, Tina, pruning your tree, right?
Okay.
Getting rid of things that are no longer serving you. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You are going through a change, and that requires evaluating what's working now for you and what is no longer serving you as well. A small example of that was that I was, a cardio nut for a long time, full admission. I just love that big, intense exercise and so on. And I love my busyness. I just loved always having something, and I'm training or I'm working, and it did catch up to me. And I have now redesigned my life to be a lot less cardio. And then I also make room for, things that are very small, but really helpful, such as journaling. I encourage women to be, if you're somebody of spiritual faith, making a little bit more time for that connection, really making sure that you are doing things that are going to be like, in a way, that are going to be good for your soul.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
So pruning your tree of your life is really important. And I know that it's easier said than done, but it's a process.
Yeah, no, it is a process. And you know what, Annie? I have been doing my self-care, my self-love practices since 2006. And Maslow's hierarchy. Well,
Yeah,
I have my hierarchy, and it's always me at the top. And it's in the order of who's waking up first, right? And I tell my clients, I'm like, if I don't take care of me, everyone else and everything else is not going to get done, or it's not going to be the best. So
correct.
I always wake up first thing in the morning. I have my journal in my washroom. So I come out of the washroom, grab my journal, I sit down on the floor, and I start journaling. And then I do a little 10-minute meditation. Then I do my stretching, right? And then if the kids aren't awake, then I'll go down and do like a 30-minute walk on the treadmill. But it's important to acknowledge that you need to take care of your heart, your body, your mind, your soul, just little things, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I absolutely love that advice.
Yeah.
Okay. So me, there's a lot of health and wellness coaches out there, but I want to know what differentiates you from other health and wellness coaches. What is it that you love to focus on?
Well, first of all, I'm completely devoted to women at midlife. So whether they are at, midlife can be 38 and they're entering perimenopause, up to post-menopause. And that is a big area. And that's the only area that I focus on. The other thing would be that my approach is 100% holistic. I'm a nutritionist, registered, certified nutritionist. But my approach is to look at the total person. And when we work together, whether it's in group or private coaching, we look at the entirety of you and how you're changing through this. Because as I mentioned, this is an all body experience. So that is what would be, the two key differentiators.
Excellent. I love that. I love the whole body approach. And I love that, you are focused. It's similar to what you were saying earlier. You can have a general practitioner, a family doctor, but if you're going through something specific, you want someone who has all the knowledge and who's up to date with all that's going on with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for anyone who's listening, who's on the fence about hiring a health and wellness coach, what would you tell them? How do you help your clients? Tell us a little bit about that.
I think that it's best expressed in a client story.
Mm.
A few years ago, a successful entrepreneur who also is a mother of 4, imagine, and she obviously busy life, etc., and had gone through some setbacks with peri-menopause. And when she came to me, she had a lot of challenges, weight, so a lot of the symptoms, the brain. And after we were done working together, she said, I don't think that I ever told you this, Annie, but I had almost given up on myself.
Mm.
And that is what we do as women, right? We just keep on pushing and pushing and pushing. And then it comes to a point where you're like, oh my God, I think that this train is out of control and there's nothing that I can do. And I think this is what I do, is I give women their power back, and so that they get to have the thriving life that they want, right? And that they feel good about themselves again,
Yeah.
mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? It's not about looking like we were 25 years old. We are not going to look like when we were 25 years old. Thank God, because we have so much more wisdom and power than when we were 25. But it is about just owning it back. And I think that that's what I do with women.
No, Annie, you know what? I love it. And I love all that you're doing for women out there. And, that story right there, it gave me goosebumps because I know that there are a lot of women out there who are going through a lot of changes in this time in their lives. And they're having a hard time wrapping their head around it. Maybe because, it's happening so fast, or that they don't have the knowledge or the power to understand it all, or they don't have the time
Yes.
to understand it all. And you and I both know when we work with coaches, we elevate ourselves that much quicker, right? So, if I want to know and understand this area of my life, I'm going to be looking to work with someone like you who's been there, who's, walking the walk, talking the talk, and who can educate me and give me the tools I need to be successful. So
Exactly.
thank you. Yeah, no, that's amazing. So Annie, is there anything that we haven't talked about that you want to touch upon, or did we get it all for now?
Well, I think we got a lot done in the little time frame here. But I would also invite anybody that has been listening to this or is going to be listening to this on replay. If you have questions, if you are struggling, I don't believe in the struggle. There are solutions, right? And I have a 30-minute ultimate menopause solution call for anybody that is interested in just putting their toe in the water and see if, we could offer you some support. So, I think I will just put it in the show notes and in the comments, and people can simply contact me, and it will be my pleasure to support you.
I love that. So, Annie, actually, can you just tell us how can people get in touch with you? What is the fastest way?
Very simply, go to my website, which is veev.ca. So VEEV.ca. There's a contact button, I think, on every page, and it will take you to me, and we can have a chat. And there's a lot of resources that are there as well, so that you get a little bit of sense of, what are all the things that we can do to support you.
Excellent. Oh my gosh, Annie, this was so good. Thank you so much for all the information, for your time, for making this a topic that we can all be comfortable talking about, and being open to understand that, there are resources out there. You don't have to do it alone, and it doesn't have to be horrible. um,
Well said.
yeah, I mean, I'm going through it myself, but like there's good days, there's bad moments. It doesn't have to be bad days even. But the more we know, the more we understand, the more we can prepare ourselves and the people around us about what's happening. Excellent.
Exactly.
Annie, thank you again so much. I'm just going to wrap things up. So I'll put you backstage if you have to go. I totally understand, but thank you again for joining me today.
Thank you, Tina.
All right. So there you have it, folks. Annie Gaudreau, she's amazing at what she does. And please reach out to her. 30-minute free consultation. You tell her what's going on, and she'll give you some more amazing tips and tricks on how to, navigate through this interesting time of our lives. I'm not going to say difficult, because it's a change, just like anything else in life. Once you understand more, you can do better. So learn more, do better. So for anyone out there who is experiencing any type of change, or not experiencing what the change that they want to be experiencing, if you are struggling with getting stuff done, and you want to get out of your own way and into results in less than 90 days, I want you to private message me, and let me know how I can assist you. Right now, I have 3 group coachings going. I'm working with 10 amazing clients, and I would love for you to be one of them. So take advantage of my free 30-minute session as well. Let me know what it is that you want to achieve in the next 3 to 6 months. You tell me your big dreams, and I'll break them down for you in smaller, more manageable tasks, so that you could start seeing the results you deserve. Thanks, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you and your business grow in 2024. Bye-bye.